Hello everyone, and welcome to a series of videos, this time on the subject of perfect competition. So what is perfect competition? Well, it's one of our market structures and it sits at the most competitive end of the competitiveness spectrum. We have a series of key assumptions and characteristics associated with perfect competition. And you'll see we've got a mnemonic here in red to help you remember them. So we assume that all products are homogeneous. They're exactly the same. They're perfect substitutes for one another. All firms are assumed to have access to factors of production. There are large numbers of both buyers and sellers, and in the long run there are no barriers to entry or exit at all. The demand curve for the individual firm in this world is perfectly elastic, and buyers and sellers are assumed to have perfect information, and economic agents are assumed to be rational. So that means that firms will be profit maximizers and consumers will be utility maximizers. So the first thinking task for you, as we said on the previous slide, goods produced in perfect competition, all services actually are assumed to be homogeneous. So which of these goods here do you think are reasonably homogeneous? Pause the video for a couple of minutes and have a bit of a think about this. Right, welcome back everybody. Well, I think quite a few of these goods and services are reasonably homogeneous. Cement, wheat, sporting bets, flowers, fruit in a big street market, certainly currency. I think the ones that are less so are perhaps bars in a Spanish resort, and particular types of cars, I would say, are not necessarily that homogeneous. Another thinking task for you, and this one's quite important. Perfect competition, as you can probably tell from the assumptions, is unlikely to exist in the real world. So why do you think we study it? Pause the video for a moment and see what answers you come up with. Well, perfect competition, as we've said, describes a market structure whose assumptions are strong, and it's really quite unlikely that we will get anything exactly like it in the real world. But it is really important though, because we can actually get a lot of insights from studying the world and then comparing and contrasting it with our real world in perfectly competitive markets and industries. It's a benchmark, in other words. But a second point, which is quite important as well, is that there's quite a lot of technological developments that are meaning that some markets, whilst they might not be perfectly competitive, are actually taking on more of the aspects of perfect competition. So there we are, an end to our introductory video.